What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Jacob Wall Fishing. Just sitting out here on the boat. It is kind of a dreary day, as you can see, but I just wanted to share a little tackle tip with you guys. I talked about this in one of my previous videos, and I'm just getting around to doing this, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. I'm going to try to make it quick because I don't know, it might start raining here, but first off, we're going to be talking about stick baits, such as this Gambler Fat Ace. This is a 5-inch, or not Fat Ace, this is the Ace. But this is sort of what we're going to be talking about, something along these lines, just a stick bait. We're going to be talking about rigging. So what I use is for wacky rigging. This is all going to be wacky rigging. So what I use is heat shrink tubing. I got this from, I believe, Harbor Freight. This is an older kit that I bought. This was a little bit newer kit that I bought, as you can tell by the labels. They both are exactly the same thing. As you can see in there, let's see, I'll try to, yeah, I can probably show you. So you've got different size tubing in there, as you can kind of see through the bottom of that. I use one size of it mostly. It tells you on the top here what different sizes they come in. It's actually pretty convenient. It comes in a box almost similar to what we use for, you know, our lures. This is a lot like a little Plano box, so it fits in the boat really well. So I use this. I use the 5/16 size, I believe is what it is. It's going to look just like this guy here. So if you hold it up next to a stick bait, let's see, here's a stick bait. So there's your stick bait, there's your tubing. You can see it's about the same exact size. That stick bait's a little tweaked. Let's grab a new one. There we go. As you can see, the stick bait's the exact, you know, kind of same diameter as that tubing. And so what I do is I grab a piece of that tubing. Here's one that I've already cut. Very, very simple. So I take my scissors and I cut off a piece. You can vary this. I mean, you could make it real wide, but I typically do it pretty narrow, you know, about, I don't know how wide that is, maybe 1/8 of an inch or something. As you can see, I mean, it's decently wide, but it's not like ridiculous. So what I do is I take that and I slide that over the worm all the way up till about where the midpoint of the worm is. So as you can see there, I've got it slid up all the way to the midpoint of the worm. As you can look, if you look at it, it's a flat piece of tubing when you get it. So it's got a crease on either end. When you put it on the worm, you can see both of those creases. So from there, what I do is I keep that's ready to go. Let me find a hook here. I'm just going to use one of these. This is a good hook for fishing a wacky rig. This is a 1/0, I believe, yeah, 1/0 split shot drop shot hook by Gamakatsu. Another good hook is the Hayabusa finesse drop shot hook. It's a very, very similar hook. The Gamakatsu finesse wide gap, that's a good one when you're throwing like a bigger worm. That's obviously a pretty big hook. That's like a 5/0, but I use that for like 6, you know, the Fat Ace, or 6-inch, 7-inch Cinco, something like that. And then my favorite one for around structure, like from fish around boat docks or lay down trees or brush or really anything that's, you know, I could hang up on, is the Hayabusa, or not Hayabusa. This is a Decoy finesse HD. What else? Yeah, cover finesse HD. That's just a really good hook, really good weed guard on there. It's not like a single strand or like a double strand. It's got like 4 or 5 bristle strands on there that kind of protrude out and block the hook from getting hung up on stuff. So anyway, back to the rigging here. So I've got a 1/0 split shot drop shot hook. I've got my worm. And like I was talking about, I've got the crease on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch that crease even tighter. So as you can see, I've got it kind of pinched and protruding off the worm there. Then I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to poke it through one side of the tubing and out the other side. So I go through one side, start coming out the other side, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it goes, right through. And the cool part about this shrink tubing is it's extremely rigid, so this is not going to pull off. If you guys have used like the standard O-ring, I probably have some here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, here's some. I'll show you the difference. So here's your standard O-ring, and then there's your tubing. So the O-ring stretches, and the O-ring, it's rigid, but it moves, and it's so narrow that the hook slips around on it. So the biggest difference for me is that the O-ring makes your hook sit here. I don't want to re-rig another bait, but basically the O-ring makes your hook sit like this with the worm. It doesn't, you know, it makes it sit parallel with the worm. The hook's facing this direction. Whereas with the shrink tubing, the hook is perpendicular, and if the fish comes up and eats it, I personally believe I get a better hookup ratio when my hook is facing that direction. You know, a lot of guys like to have their hook stabbing directly through the worm. Well, this gives you that same benefit of stabbing through the worm. It keeps the worm or the hook perpendicular to the worm, and it increases your hookup ratio. The other thing that I really like about this is that if I'm skipping docks, or if I'm throwing it up under stuff where I'm trying to skip it, I can throw it much harder without having the worm come off the hook. A lot of the times I noticed in the past when I'd skip, I would kind of hold back a little bit when I'd go to cast. I wouldn't throw it as hard as I could to get it up under there because I'd be afraid of that worm shooting off the hook. With that, I mean, you can fish it just like you're skipping a jig or something. You can fire it up under there and you're not going to be afraid of it coming off the hook. The other cool part about this is that once you've caught a fish on this bait, or say you want to change colors, look at that. I can slide my worm directly out of that tube, and then let's say I want to throw a black and blue Yamamoto Senko here. Take my Senko. I've got my hook and my shrink tube tied on my line already to my rod. All I do is I open that shrink tube up and I slide my Senko in that O-ring, or in that shrink tube, and then boom, I've got a Yamamoto, you know, Senko on there rather than that Gambler Ace. And so, I mean, it's just a quick process. It's really nice. The fish don't strip it out of it very often. It does happen, but it doesn't happen very often. It lasts very long. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that tip with you guys with the shrink tubing. Go to your local Harbor Freight store. I don't remember how much exactly these cost, but I think they're under $6, $5 or $6, maybe more than that, but not more than $10 to get one of those kits. And believe me, it lasts a long time. I've had one of these in my boat for probably 2 or 3 years, and I just added another one this last year just to make sure I had all the sizes that I wanted, and lots of them. So anyway, guys, go check that out. Go to your local store, pick up a kit of shrink tubing and your favorite stick bait. This is Yamamoto, like I said, Ace, whatever, you know, floats your boat, whatever you like. And give it a try, guys. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a good one. Be safe out there. Talk to you later.